What's up, agents, and welcome back to another Division video where I might have some juicy leaked info. Don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. Now, when rumors come to rumors, take all information in this video with an absolute pinch of salt. That's the first thing that you absolutely need to do. Now, with all that said, let's get straight into it. So, at the part of the Easter event, if you go into the expertise bench, we can see here that we're going to get this gun here, the Handbasket. And what just so has happened has somehow slid into my DMs one way or another. Somebody has managed to find out the stats for this thing. Now, I'm not sure if there's an issue with these stats. It doesn't line up exactly how I would expect it to. But then again, I kind of think I'm always on the fence when it comes to them giving away best in slot items, right? I fully understand it with the Lexington. It was kind of a special one-off. But kind of everything else they've given us hasn't really been best in slot. But there has been one exception to that. And that is the Harvest. Now, the Harvest very much is with the Loot Goblin right now. I've made a video on it. And it very much is best in slot for pistols, especially if you're running what people call a cheese build with Determined. I published that video earlier on today. So take all of this with an absolute pinch of salt. It might be an error in wherever the leaked information has come from. It might be that that's how it's going to be. We won't know for a few more days, but leaked info is something to get excited about. But like I said, please take it with a pinch of salt. So let's flip over to IKEA's spreadsheet where I have edited IKEA's spreadsheet. IKEA has not put this in his spreadsheet. I've edited it. So big shout out to him to put in the stats that I have been given. Now, you're going to have to zoom in maybe a little bit in the video. I'll try and zoom in a little bit for you as well when I do the editing. But as you can see, this is the stats here. So the base damage of it is 169983. Now, that is higher than the regular SVD at 15662.5. IKEA's got that there, and we'll take the 0.5 off because it just winds me up. But you can see there that there's an increase in base damage, and that doesn't surprise us. We have had guns now with what they call perfect base stats now. So the Lexington, I believe, for instance, the Harvest exactly is a great example. It has a higher base damage than the gun that it's based on. So this is not a surprise, and this certainly looks like this could be a thing, right? So that's kind of okay. Then we look at the RPM, and the RPM that I was given was 60. Now that's really weird, right? Because an SVD usually is 260. So either they're giving higher base damage and taking away some RPM, or that's a mistake. The mags are the same. It's a 10 round, but can take an extra 5 with the magazine. The reload speed on it was a little bit slower. It was 2.85. An SVD is normally 2.59, but with the same optimal range. So, yeah, a little bit weird. They're either giving it a higher base damage, but taking away RPM and reload speed, or it's just a mistake. The two, I just can't see us giving us an SVD that only fires at 60. That gets into SRS territory, you know, M44, custom M44 territory, and it just doesn't seem to like it would fit with the archetype of the gun. But what we'll do is we'll compare both these scenarios just in case one is right and just in case one is wrong. So as far as sustained damage goes, if it is 60, it comes in absolutely bottom of the pile by an absolute country mile, which is a little bit of a shame, because it just means that nobody's going to use it. One other thing that I'll touch on is it looks like it comes with the talent naked, but not perfectly naked, meaning that we'll be able to change the talent on the gun to whatever we want. So that's great as well. Let's just hope, likely means that we're probably going to have to use the Loot Goblin to farm for a damage to target out of cover version. That's kind of what we're always going to want as well. But on the other hand, if it does have a 260 RPM like SVDs do have normally, it actually puts it pretty high up the ranking. It actually puts it in third place. No, not third place. 4, 3, so a bit lower down than. Let's just see where it puts it. So. $403. A regular SVD is $409. So because of that slightly slower reload speed, it actually puts it under in sustain than a regular SVD, which that's a little bit that's a little bit surprising, to be perfectly honest. But actually I misspoke looking at this actually. So it puts it with the SVD power, which is the type that it is. It puts it above that, but it puts it yeah, that's because IKEA's doing something here, isn't he? What's he doing with this? What's BM? That's what I'm wondering. Okay, so I assume he's talking about the magazine that's in it. When I take a closer look for a second, you can see here we've got 15 rounds in the mag, and with this one we've only got 10. So that's we'll obviously we're comparing like for like with the 15 rounds, but again, because of the reload speed, it makes the sustained damage just slower, and puts it just kind of here mid table. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Puts it 6th in the table. But then the one that we're probably most interested in, and I've took enough time to get to this already, is the burst DPS. So if it is just a RPM of 60 as expected, it puts it right at the bottom, which is pretty terrible, right? That's not the best. So that's a little bit strange. But if it is rocking that 260 RPM, it actually makes it pretty good. It actually puts it right at the top of the table. It will be the best burst SVD because of that extra damage that it gets. So that's, night and day how crazy good this thing is going to be, or how crazy horrible this thing is actually going to be. When it comes to mag damage, you can see here as well, it's pretty mid table. So that, it's pretty crazy. But one thing we have to kind of think of a little bit is, well, if they're going to slow this right down, it then becomes, you would think, a little bit comparable to a rifle, because you can see here, I say that rifle, the RPM on an M1A, it fires pretty fast, right? So, classic M1A still fires at 180. So, yeah, I'm not so sure. The burst damage there is nearly 700k. If we look at the burst damage on this, it would be around it would only be around the same with that, if the RPM was right. It's way down in the ranks, which is kind of what makes me think that actually the RPM must be 260 and not 60, because otherwise it's a straight to stash gun with nothing special about it. But maybe this is just a leak. Maybe it's not quite right. Maybe something is wrong wherever the information has come from. Maybe, it's just not quite right. So there is always that to wonder about as well. But for now, we can probably safely assume that maybe that base damage is right. That's probably the one that's super reliable. And everything else kind of lines up. Just that RPM absolutely doesn't. So, as always, let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching, agents. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Bye-bye.